Hello and welcome to USA. My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Team 53, and I partnered with Coach Dave Academy and Impel Motorsports to bring you this week's Learn to Drive video for rookie mini stocks at USA as part of iRacing's 2025 Season 2 Week 3 official series action. If you guys can, make sure you give us a like, give us a subscribe. I'm a local racer here in Wisconsin. Every subscription, every like, every view that we can get helps us to find sponsorship for not only my car, but also my daughter Sydney wants to start racing this year. So all of that helps. Just a little bit more about me. I am about a 12-year veteran of iRacing on and off. Throughout that period, I have about a 7,500 I rating. So we definitely have some experience, let's put it that way, on the service. So mini stocks at USA. I've done a number of videos of this. I think you guys will visit this track again later on in the season, probably with some different weather, but we'll get into that. So for mini stocks in the garage, you can't do anything to these cars. So you have what you have, and you guys all have the same thing. So what can we do to do better than other people besides just drive better? Well, we can put ourselves in position. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go out for a qualifying lap and we are going to tire heat. It's really, really, really important that you guys are tire heating. It's worth uh, probably about a half a tenth to a tenth tire heating. So it's first gear, gas, brake, swerve until we get to that blue cone, and then we're going to get up through the gears. And I'm going to park this car in fourth gear, and I never come back out of fourth gear under pace or under laps. So we go high here in 3 and 4, get a good run, and then we're going to turn down into turn 1 and see what the grip level feels like. And you can see the car kind of pushes up the track, so grip's not quite there. So we're going to go back around. We're going to go high again here in 3 and 4. We're going to get another run going to the start finish line. As we get to the start finish line, we are going to pause and take a look at where we are. So we're at about 104 miles an hour starting our lap. A lot of times rookies struggle with getting close to the wall. I'm about 2 squares off the wall at the start finish line, so you can kind of use that as a rule of thumb for you. If we go into the cockpit, I have triple screens, but you can see like the left body mark of the car kind of lines up with this dash mark. The hood pin goes right through it, so it's really easy to kind of see from that perspective. Your FOV might look a little different than mine. I have um, triple screens, so you guys are just really seeing the front screen, the center screen, I mean. So we go down the front stretch and we are just cruising down the front stretch and we're going to start to turn in right about now. So just before the green leaf sod, when we go across these dash lines, we start to turn into the corner and we're going to lift and brake just before we get to this light. For me, in the inside of the car, right, I always think of it as I'm at the light, but it feels like once you start to see the light kind of get into focus. Um, it's just really hard to kind of give you a barrier there, but the light gets closer. You're kind of in no man's land here. We'll lift, and then we're going to use brake. And what that brake is going to do is transfer weight from the rear of the car to the front of the car. Think about it. When you're on throttle, you're sending all the weight to the back. So you've got that nose pointed, but then when you brake, you're sending it to the front, just like you would in your passenger car to help you get around that corner. So we move that to the front, and then our goal is to get this left front down here in this light gray. We'll let the car drift up a little bit in center, and then we'll hard drive off. So we bring it down. We're going to grab that. And now we finally let go of the brake here right about the time the pit exit wall kind of goes away. And you can see I'm grabbing a little bit more brake here in the center, and then I immediately go to throttle. So I grab that brake and then I jolt it with the throttle to try and push that weight around and really free up this car so it sits on that right rear. And then we'll just drive off the corner. We'll do the same thing on the backstretch. We'll get up close to the wall. And now here on the backstretch, this wall breaks away. So when this wall breaks away, this is my thought process to start for turn 3. And we'll start to turn in. We go past the light here, and just as we're coming up to the light or coming past the light is where we're going to brake. The wall kind of enters back together. It all kind of comes into piece. So you see this, we go past that light, and then I lift. I lose it out of focus in mine. It'd be like pretty much parallel to my right. But you lose it, you brake, and then you bring it down into turn 3. And the same deal as turn 1. Get those left sides as close as you can to this yellow line. Wrap the bottom here, and then throttle up and drive off the corner. And you'll get yourself a nice little 23.692. There's definitely a low 23.6, if not a 23.5 in there if I had sat here and really kind of ran a few more laps, but we could get there. In terms of race, you can see I did my race run 97.99, running as hard as I can. So my right front definitely was going to get worn out a little bit. I've run a few mini stock races here in my day. The mini stocks are still a relatively new car. I've done hosted races. And the big thing with the mini stocks is really keeping that right front underneath you late in the run. When the car goes tight at the end, that's when you really have to start searching. So what I would recommend is go out and run 10 laps in race trim, not tire heating, but just 10 laps as fast as you can. And you can see we got to a 771. So what we would do then is let's just kind of take a look at this lap. It's going to look exactly like the Q lap did. Bring it down, let her push up, drive it back down off the corner, go down the back stretch, lift and brake into 3, grab that spot there, and then drive it down and off. So it's kind of that same deal that you're used to. Let's go back though, and let's hop in the car here, and what we'll do is we'll do a lap in the car. And what I'm going to try and do here is I want to try and improve this tire wear, because I know this 97.99 isn't going to last. So we're going to go to our session best lap of a 692, and our goal is going to be to run about a 79 for our fastest lap to an 8. Just kind of slow our lap times down just a little bit and see if we can save some right front tire to have more at the end and potentially be able to have a better run for you. So some of the tools that I use, you see this delta bar, and I'll go over this when we get done with these laps, but we have this delta bar up here, and I have buttons mapped on my steering wheel that kind of tell me what I'm looking for. So right now I'm just doing it off a session best lap until I get a really good baseline lap time that we can use to then kind of run the rest of our laps off of. So as you can see here, we're probably still a little fast for my pace. That 86 might be all right. So now I'm going to move this over to session last lap. And we want to try and keep this probably like an 81 is really where I want to shoot for. Right around that 8 mark. So we'll just kind of run and see what we can get. This would be an 80. This would be a 79. Yeah, this is probably a little too fast, but we'll let it go. So our goal now is going to be to try and keep it right around that 8. So what are things that I'm doing? I'm braking. I'm getting on throttle a little bit softer than what I was with my wheel turn, which is really going to help save that right front tire. There you can see we lost a lot of time off for that lap. 23.8. But I'm really just looking to try and get this car down, get that left side tires in that lighter color, and then use that to drive up off the corner. And it's all about consistent laps, right? We really, really want to have those consistent laps, really know where we're at, how hard we're running. 23.903. And as you guys are running too, you'll notice like if you're going into the corner and you see the car in front of you is just getting bigger and bigger on entry, you're probably overdriving entry a little bit. Especially if that car is getting bigger and then they get tiny on exit. You're overdriving entry. Back up your entry at that point, your brake point, move it earlier, and then you should be able to get on throttle a little bit earlier, which you got to be careful getting on throttle too early because that will burn up your right front. But in general, if you see the car in front of you is getting bigger on entry and smaller on exit, you're overdriving entry. If the car is getting smaller on entry and bigger on exit, that means that you're probably driving it about right because you're making time, as long as they continue to get bigger than what you saw them the lap before or the corner before. Um, you just really have to be patient with these cars. And, a 30, 40 lap race in a mini stock, it really does wear on the car, and you've really got to
23.932.
be very, very patient with it, right? And not try and get on too hard, but not underdrive the car easy either. These cars are really easy to underdrive. Um, but it's all about getting them under braking and getting that rear end to kick out a little bit to rotate for you around the corner.
23.873.
So as you can see here, we're on probably our last lap of this run, and then I want to go check tires and just see where we're at. I think we should probably have a little bit better tire wear than where we were at currently. So remember, 97% tire wear to 99 on the right rear. So we were
23.948.
really heavy on that right front. And I think with running a little bit softer this time, it should help us. So now we'll go into our garage, and we gained a percentage just by backing our times down, which over 10 laps doesn't seem like a lot, but over the course of a race, that's going to compound and really help us with that. So to turn on the Delta, you just go into your options when you're in the sim, and then we are going to go to option, and you'll check display delta bar, and then I have buttons set for display next splits as well as previous splits so that I can just toggle back and forth to get what I want there. And that should really help you guys out. Lakeland, it's USA Lakeland. It's no longer in existence in real life, and for a 3/4 mile track, it actually runs pretty good in the mini stock. So I hope you guys have a lot of fun this week. Whether you're new to iRacing or old, join our Discord, team53racing.com. Head over to the Facebook page. We are on the cusp of 500 subscribers, so once we hit that, we'll start doing some giveaways in our Discord. So make sure you're there, and we will see you guys in the next video.